All right, y'all. I had to go to the restroom, so excuse me. Okay, but top commenter of the day goes to that kid, Kayla, Rico, Nicholas. Hello, Nicholas, and Aaliyah. So shout out to y'all. He said, I thought Law Waller was going to attack Theory after this match. Well, I would have expected Theory to attack Waller, seeing as how Waller's the one who tapped. But I'm very happy for DIY. They are the tag team champions. It looks like the tag team division is moving along on SmackDown. It's a little stagnant on Raw, but we'll get there. Now let's start off with what we saw in terms of the bloodline. Okay. Solo made some very, very strong allegations against the former tribal chief, as he puts it, Roman Reigns. And what he said was very targeted. Damn. God damn. She was like she dead. Lord have mercy. Let me turn this off. That lady look dead as hell. Anyway, Solo, they let Solo cut a 3-minute promo at the end of the show after we got the final match between DIY and A-Town Down Under. Now, what Solo said is very important because Solo said Roman is no longer fit to lead the bloodline. He has lost his luster, apparently. He no longer is the tribal chief, and he refuses to acknowledge him as such. He also made it very clear that because he has the Eulovala, that in turn makes him the tribal chief, and Roman is out and he is in. And he said if Roman wants to take this from him, he gonna have to come see him. He gonna have to make him give it up. And I was like, okay, that was a clear invitation that it's about to go down. It was a clear invitation that that's about to go down. So this is the start of Solo and Cody Rhodes' feud. And this will then carry over into the new feud of Roman Reigns versus Solo in terms of Roman regaining himself as the tribal chief, trying to get the title from Solo, but also Solo maintaining himself at the top of the mountain. It's going to be a lot going on. Okay? It's going to be a lot going on. A lot. But y'all got to pay attention. Okay, because we also heard some words from Kevin, Randall, and Cody. Now, everybody else gave pretty much minimal conversation. Randy basically was just like, if they let me do it, if we can end this shit with an RKO. That's the last thing that these hoes is going to get from me is an RKO. I'm not giving them shit else. And of course, Cody was like, man, whatever, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But Kevin's mom has been ill for the last couple of weeks, and Kevin has been in Quebec the entire time. And he honestly could have stayed by his mother's side, but he said that his mother would not have let him do that, and that she was very much supportive of him and his wrestling career, as is his father. They did everything they could and all the sacrifices and everything they could to ensure that Kevin was able to achieve his dream of being in the WWE and being multi-time champion and doing everything that he's been able to do. So in spite of his mother's illness and sickness, he had, and with her blessing, came to Toronto, and he is going to be in Toronto for Money in the Bank and the match between Solo and the Bloodline and Cody and Randy and Kevin. He's going to be there. He's not going to give up because he said his mother instilled in him to fight, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to fight. Now, I don't know what the fuck Kratos going to do. Okay, but given the fact that Kevin is sacrificing time with his mother, and at any given moment, if the Lord decides, which Lord willing, please. Matter of fact, don't let me say that. If something and he's out there wrestling and he ain't at least get the W, I'm gonna be mad than the motherfucker. Okay, so Kratos, I don't know what the fuck you gotta do to make this work out in your favor so that the bloodline still looks like the bloodline when they get done. But they need to lose on Sunday, okay? And fuck the storyline. Kevin need to win so he can go back to his mama and sit by his mama bedside in case something bad. Let him have that. Let him have that. Don't let him get his ass whooped in the middle of that match like that. Don't do that. Don't do that man like that. Now shit. Kevin cut his. They got their shit and they left. Okay, that was it. Cody was gone, Randall was gone, and Kevin was gone. But there was a little tidbit that y'all need to pay attention to. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. When they was bringing their asses out there together, and you know, Randy had his protein drink because that's what he was drinking. He drank protein shake. Randy was eyeing that championship real close. And when I say real close, I mean real close. His eyes was right on the gold. It wasn't nowhere but on the gold. And I said, I see you. I see what you trying to do, you bitch. I see you. I see you eyeing Homelander's championship. I see you. I see what you're doing. You're not fooling me. I'm watching the first 25 minutes of Smackdown right now because I took very last minute shift from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., even though I didn't want to. Oh, well. You said damn right as I closed the door a little too strong and thought you were talking to me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He was laser. Wasn't he, though? I mean, that was the only thing he was looking at. I was like, okay, Randall. Okay, Randall. Okay, I see you. But anyways, so we had a couple of matches tonight. All right. There was a match between Bianca and Jay and Indy and Candice. This is the second time these girls have wrestled as a tag team against Indy and Candice. This is the second time they beat them. I would imagine that they should not be wrestling them anytime soon. But they've made it very clear that Bianca and Jade are going to go back after those tag team titles, which I imagine that match is probably going to happen at SummerSlam. Okay, they did beat Candice and Indy tonight, and they made the declaration that they're glad that Alba and Isla are keeping their titles warm for them, but they coming back after them, and they're going to become 2-time tag team champions. I said, okay, girl, do your thing. And then we had some impromptu matches. So we had a match that was set up last week, which I don't know why they didn't have no infographic for it on WWE.com. But it kind of pissed me off. The Pride, meaning Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, which congratulations to Dawkins. He just recently got married. I think it was last week he got married. Or earlier this week, I'm not sure. Either way, he's now off the market and a married man, even though he has been off the market for quite some time with his longtime fiance and the mother of his children, but he is officially married. And Montez is the one who officiated his wedding. So we love that for them. Anyways, they got into it with Pretty Deadly last week. So Nick made the match for this week that Pretty Deadly would face off against Street Profits today. So they had a really good match. Pretty Deadly came out there and were focused. They wrestled. They had a good time. But the Street Profits was just a little bit more polished than Pretty Deadly was. They had a little bit of a drop on them. So as much as the Pretty Deadly needed this win, they did not get it. And the Street Profits went over on Pretty Deadly today. And it was a good matchup. I would love to see them battle it out again. But I have a sneaky suspicion that the Street Profits are going to be going after DIY very soon. And to me, that's going to be an even more fun match. Because, bitch, it's about to be a good time. Okay? But we also got a match between Bayley and Piper Niven. Now, Piper and Chelsea decided to go after Bayley while she was in the back talking to old girl. I think that big-headed heifer name is Jackie. Her head is huge, by the way. But anyway, I'm sorry, but she got a big-ass dome. Jackie was back there. I think her name Jackie. Excuse me if I don't get her name right. But she was back there interviewing Bayley. And all of a sudden, Chelsea came up there and was talking mad shit. And then Piper came up there and basically did what Nia did to Mia last week. She came out there and just slammed the girl into the roadie damn trunk and beat the hell out of her. And so Bayley was like, fuck this. Okay, listen, Nick. She was like, listen, I want a match. Nick said, okay, fine. You can have a match with Piper tonight. And then Naomi got wind of what had happened. So Naomi was like, girl, is you cool? Is you straight? She was like, nah, but I'm about to be. I'm going to go out there. I just asked Nick for a match. She granted it. So I got a match tonight against Piper. She was like, girl, you know, I got your back. And Bayley was like, I know you do, girl. I know you do. So Naomi came out there with Bayley because she knew Chelsea was going to be out there with Piper thick ass. So they had a really good match too. But instead of giving them the time frame that they gave the men for the Money in the Bank ladder match, they let the women interfere in Bailey and them's match. So you had Kelsey battling it out on the outside. Then that's when okay, who got involved? Oh, EO got involved with them, and then Lyra jumped the barricade and got involved. Zoe decided to get rid of Lyra, and then Tiffany Stratton's punk ass came down there, and all she did was moonsault. Besides hitting somebody in the throat, she moonsaulted off the top rope, and everybody was screaming and hollering because she did a moonsault off the top turnbuckle. And I said, okay, we seen Charlotte do it 7,000 times. It ain't nothing new. We've seen this before. Stop acting like it was amazing. It's the same fucking moonsault we've seen from Charlotte. It's the same moonsault. Calm the fuck down. Anyway. They ended up fighting, all of them fighting on the outside. They all got took out. And then Bailey was able to pick up the win from Piper with a rose plant. Now, in the middle of that, Nia's thick ass come out there and attacks her. I'm assuming this had something to do with her match at SummerSlam, because they're going to have to start building for SummerSlam now that Money in the Bank is about to be over, and they need to start the rivalries for SummerSlam. Some of them have already begun, but Bailey's rivalry with Nia hasn't started yet. So they're starting to do that. And for whatever reason, they have Nia Jax paired with Tiffany Stratton. I don't like it. It seems like an odd pairing to me, but if you like it, I love it. Whatever the fuck ever. Anyways, she was in there getting ready to hit Bailey with the Annihilator, but Mia Yim came in there with the kendo stick and whooped Nia's ass. Okay, Nia got a good ass whooping. She got a good ass whooping, honey. And Mia pretty much got Nia off of her. Nia scurried her big ass down the ramp with Tiffany Stratton, and they walking backwards, arm in arm and shit. Just whole ass weirdos. And that's how that section went off. Mia was asking me Bailey if she was cool, and Bailey was like, "You have my back. I appreciate that." They dapped it up, and then Mia got out the ring and went about her business. All the rest of the girls got taken out, and pretty much they all left. The only one that was left was Naomi. She was still out there, and she went on ahead and walked with Bailey back to the back. Now, prior to that, the men came out there. They was the ones who opened up the show. The Money in the Bank participants with Jey Uso, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, who's the other one? Andrade, and let me pull it up because I can't fucking remember. Yeah, that was everybody. LA Knight, Andrade, Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, and Drew McIntyre. So everybody came out there. Everybody stated their piece. And then Drew decided to, pretty much check everybody one by one. And then he went after Jey Uso on some sucker shit. And he got busted in the back of the head by Andrade. Andrade was not with the shits. He didn't like the disrespect, so he started whooping ass. Everybody started fighting. Andrade got two of them hoes out of there. He got Chad out of there. He beat the shit out of Drew. They all fighting. The last two men standing was LA Knight and Jey Uso. Carmelo, Chad, Andrade, and Drew were all on the outside of the ring. It was just Jay and LA Knight standing in the ring. And we all know that Triple H likes a little foreshadowing in his world. So that's why I say always pay attention. Okay, pay attention. Okay. Now, final match of the night, because I don't remember if there was another match. I doubt. Shut up, Rico. Notice how Naomi always sees or heard about Bailey getting attacked, but she's never actually helped. She is plotting. I think you're reaching. That's what I think. I don't know how she's not going to hear it. Like, she's there, everybody's there, everybody knows. If you're not hearing it, you definitely are going to see it because they're playing it on the Titantron in the arena. So even if it's in kayfabe, it's more likely that she heard it than she didn't. I would be surprised if she was like, "Oh, I didn't even know you got attacked." I'd be like, though, like, you would have to not be paying attention on purpose to not know she got attacked. So I don't know if I can align myself with that theory. That don't sound right to me. That don't sound right. So the night, because I can't remember no other matches, was a tag match. Superlative match. Superlative match from all four competitors. I may give Grayson Waller and Austin Theory a very hard time, but it is mainly because one, I expect more out of both of them. And number two, it is because I know that they have the ability to pull out banger matches and be better characters than what we've been getting as of lately. And they proved it today. Austin Theory is a stellar wrestler. He just has a shitty character sometimes. Grayson Waller is a shithead type of character, which you either learn to love or extremely hate. But he wrestled his ass off today. It was a very, very, very. Did you eat? It was a very good match between these four men. But ultimately, it was DIY who was able to get these titles on their shoulders, and I'm so happy for them because they have been grinded and they're on the main roster and they are finally champions on the main roster. This is a building stepping stone for them, and this is only going to lead to bigger and better things for them. I see Gargano and Ciampa at some point headlining one or the other show. Like, they're going to be split up eventually. I don't think they're going to stay a tag team long. I think once they are split up, they are going to be sent to different shows and they'll begin their ascension to headline the either show. It really doesn't matter, but I want to see them in main event pictures because both of them are main event superstars. Grayson and Theory are the future, but Ciampa and Gargano are for right now, especially when you have guys like Seth, not necessarily on the downward spiral, but he's on the end of his career. Guys like Drew are their careers, and you need to start building up other stars to either be their replacements or be their equals, and Ciampa and Gargano are very good examples of being those types of guys. With that being said, let's talk about the match. In this match, there was a lot of pinfalls and a lot of times where either Waller or DIY and could have won this match. Okay, it was very, very close pinfalls. But in the end, Grayson Waller is the one who gave up because twice he had Theory be the one to take a hit for him. Once it was because he hit him, and it was an accident, if you believe such things. The second time, he pulled Theory into the kick from Johnny Gargano. Once again, this is like the third time he's done this to Austin Theory. Not only that, but Grayson Waller was saved 3 times by Austin Theory in this match. And this was by his own volition. It wasn't because he was pulling him in front. But the last few seconds of the match was very telling because Austin Theory was doing everything in his power to save those championships for them. Whereas Grayson Waller was quickly ready to give up at the moment that he felt any type of pain or pressure. And that's where it came in with the crossface. He gave up. He couldn't hold on any longer. And not only that, but Theory was also in a submission move by Ciampa to keep him from keeping Grayson from tapping out. And ultimately, he just couldn't save his partner anymore. And by Grayson's own strength, there was no way that he was going to keep himself up. I would have rather passed out than to tap, but apparently he couldn't take the pain, so he tapped out. And DIY is your new tag team champions, and I'm kind of glad because I felt so bad. Oh, Nicole's here. Hi, Nicole. I felt so bad for R-Truth and Miz because I feel like they deserve better than that. I'm not mad that they dropped the titles. Don't get me wrong. I'm fine with Miz and Truth dropping the titles. But Miz is right when he says that they finally have brought a major PLE to Cleveland, and he had an opportunity to be one of the leading matches into this PLE. And because of Truth, unfortunately, and I know he's everybody's treasure, we all love Truth, don't get me wrong. But because of Liv Morgan manipulating R-Truth the way that she did, he now has lost his opportunity to go into his hometown, into the Cleveland Browns Stadium as a champion, and at least be a part of the festivities in his hometown as a champion. And I know that's got to suck. So I hope WWE gives him an opportunity to at least attempt to get those titles back, whether it's at SummerSlam or, they can at least cost, Judgment Day the titles and he can have a moment. But Miz deserves that. All the time and effort that he's put in WWE, and this is the time that they've finally broken down and given Cleveland a chance with a major PLE. He deserves the opportunity to be a part of it, if not be in it. Okay. So with all that being said, I am happy for DIY. I think they rightfully deserve those tag team titles, and I know that they're going to do them justice. I just really want Kratos to really focus on each division and make it worthwhile with those titles. They don't need to bounce around a lot for them to be worthwhile, but you need to start building feuds and having rivalries that are worth watching. You were capable of doing it with the Usos. You were capable of doing it with the Street Profits at one point. And now you have the team of DIY, and they're a wrestling team first and a character second. So you've got a lot of wiggle room here with them, and you've got a lot of work to do with that tag team division. You've got Pretty Deadly over there. You've got the Street Profits over there. Just those two tag teams alone are enough for you to get shit going. And if you get New Catch Republic back on SmackDown where they belong, you've got an even bigger tag team division there. So let's work at rebuilding this tag team division and giving us some feuds outside of the bloodline. So that's not the only thing that we can focus on, because there was a time where the Billy Kidmans and the Paul Londons and the Brian Kendricks of the world were down in the tag team division and in the cruiserweight division fighting for their lives and holding this motherfucking WWE up while everybody was watching the other main eventers wrestle. You were waiting for those smaller mid-card matches to go and those mid-card rivalries to go as well. And that's something that WWE needs to work on and focus on. All right. Do I have Serio? Thank you. You love me. Thank you. Okay. Sir. Oh, that's good. All right, so that was the end of the show, okay? Because I covered everything. It was a pretty straightforward show. There wasn't a lot going on in terms of them doing anything new. They were pretty much capitalizing on what was already started and pressing forward with that. So they're setting up for SummerSlam for sure with Jade and Bianca. They also are setting up, of course, with Money in the Bank. But they're also setting up for Cody and Solo to battle it out later on down the line. So if you listen to the podcast, which I have to re-upload because for whatever reason, it didn't upload all the audio. So I have to re-upload it. Nicole was talking about it in the pod, and she talked about how Solo and Cody are the next rivalry, and that's going to lead to a bigger fight for Solo, but also it's going to lead to another fight for Cody later on down the line, and you'll see how that plays out as well. Now, speaking of Money in the Bank, there are 5 matches on the card for Money in the Bank. We've gone over this yesterday. I'm going to go over it really quickly, and then we'll go over NXT, and then I'll be out your hair. Okay, so tomorrow we saw Sami Zayn had his Sami Zayn and Friends show in Toronto. They say it was successful, so congratulations to you, Sammy, for your first comedy show. I hope it does well in the future. And if you had a really good show, I'm pretty sure they're going to want you to go on tour and do some great things, which doesn't spell well for you being Intercontinental Champion, which means that Braun Breaker may get this title today at Money in the Bank. No, y'all. I hope he don't, because I don't like Braun Breaker. So I hope he don't get it. I hope he don't get it. I hope he don't get it. Moving on to the big kahuna. This is the World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest is defending his title against Seth freaking Rollins. And there's a gentleman's bet attached to this. If Seth wins, then Damian Priest must vacate the Judgment Day. But if Damian Priest wins, then Seth freaking Rollins can never challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship as long as Damian Priest is champion. So the stakes are really high on both sides. If Damian loses, then he loses not only his title, but he also loses his family. And if Seth loses, that he loses the one thing that has kept him going this entire time for the last year plus, is that championship. It has been his bloodline outside of his wife and his child. That has been the one thing that has kept him going and motivated. And if he loses that, where does Seth freaking Rollins stand? Don't know. I guess that's a question for them to answer at Money in the Bank. Moving on, the stakes are high because control of Smackdown is also on the line, along with Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens' sanity. Because it seems that no matter what they do, the bloodline continue to multiply and crawl out the woodwork. There is no saving anyone if the bloodline is able to win and go over on Cody, Randy, and Kevin. But if Cody, Randy, and Kevin happen to beat the bloodline, what does that mean? Does that mean that they're somehow not going to go after them anymore? That Cody is safe? Because I don't think so. One way or another, Solo is going to make his way to getting that championship shot out of Cody, whether it means beating him down for it or stalking him and beating him down for it. If he was willing to take out the one man that connected him to his older cousin, Roman Reigns, and the one man who really kept the bloodline within the confines of the corporate structure, then Solo is a dangerous entity, and he is willing to sacrifice any and everyone to get what he wants. So either way this goes, it will never be over between Cody and the bloodline. In fact, it is just beginning. With all that being said, it is time for the Money in the Bank ladder match. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match is going to be up. And I don't know, but I know for a fact that there's going to be a couple people that isn't going to win. Now, don't get me wrong. For the women's North American Championship in NXT, I made a prediction and I was off. Not going to lie, I was off. But in this, Triple H doesn't necessarily deviate from the plan. And I just don't believe that Drew McIntyre is going to win Money in the Bank. Irregardless of what you think, if he does win Money in the Bank, I am almost guaranteed that that's going to be a failed cash in. 100%. I just don't see it going any faster than that. However, I will tell you this. I believe that Chad Gable more than likely is going to be attacked before this match even begins. He's going to be attacked and laid out. I don't know, but the YS6 is definitely going to be taking him out because they have a target on his back. Now, Jey Uso is a fan favorite. LA Knight is a fan favorite. Andrade is a sleeper, and so is Carmelo. You got a lot of components in this male Money in the Bank, and all of these guys could very well be the Money in the Bank winner and be terrorizing both champions with that briefcase the way Damian Priest did for almost a year. I don't know who's going to win, but I know it's going to be an exciting match. You got too many high flyers in here in Jey Uso, Andrade, and Carmelo. And you've got potential high flyer in Chad Gable and, of course, in LA Knight. And while Drew is the biggest and probably the heaviest of all of them, he still is one of the most agile and athletic superstars in the E. And he's going to add an element that nobody else in this match has, which is strength and power. So you have a lot of elements that can work very well in this match against people and for people. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. Moving on to the final match at Money in the Bank. This is the women's Money in the Bank. And again, you've got a really good eclectic set of women in here. Each moveset is different and has a different goal, but the main goal is to get that title, you get that Money in the Bank briefcase, and then get that title. Io Sky is a former Money in the Bank winner. Naomi is probably one of the most, she's been in the most Money in the Bank matches, I think, out of all of the women that are in here. Io's been a former winner. Zoe Stark's been in the Money in the Bank match before. Chelsea, I think this is Chelsea's first time. This is Tiffany's first time. And it is definitely Lyra Valkyria's first time. Now, in Tiffany Stratton, you have a combo wrestler. She has strength. She has high flyer capability. And she's very good in the ring, and she has athleticism. In Chelsea, you have someone who's more of a thinking wrestler. She's going to find a way whether it's her skill, talent, or if she's just going to weasel her way into winning. Chelsea has always found a way. In Zoe, it's just pure wrestling capability. With Naomi, she's kind of a combination of all three. She's a thinker. She does know her way around being a little bit of a weasel at times if she needs to. And she also is a combo wrestler. So she has her technical prowess, but she's also very much a high flyer. So you've got some fun in Naomi. Then you have the Queen of the Sky in Io Sky, okay, or Io, you know, Io Shirai is what she used to call herself. But Io Sky is probably one of your gonna make this match the funnest, especially if they really give her the reins and let her go off the way that she does in like what is it that she used to be in, and she used to have a lot of fun. She would be in war games just going ape shit. So if they let her do what she wants to do in this match, it's going to be fun to watch her. And then Lyra is kind of a sleeper cell. Lyra's more of a technical wrestler, but she'll high fly if she needs to. But she is also athletic, just like everybody else. I think out of this match, the most athletic people in it is Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. But you've got a nice combination of women in this match. Possible winners, I think, is going to be Chelsea, Naomi, or Tiffany Stratton. Unfortunately, Tiffany Stratton is a strong winner for this match. Possibly, I don't want Tiffany to win. I think it's too soon for her to win. I would rather they give it to Chelsea or Naomi. And if they give it to Naomi, I hope and pray that it's not a failed cash in for her, because that would just be blatantly disrespectful. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is Money in the Bank. And we're going to move into NXT Heat Wave for a few minutes. And then I promise I will be out of your hair. All right. Let me get it up. Up, 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 up. So hold tight, y'all. Still don't know my words, still stressing perfection. Let you all in my mental, got me looking too desperate. Damn, you ain't deserve. All right. So NXT Heat Wave is on Sunday, July 7th, and starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. And on the countdown, they usually have a little show. They're going to have a match, and this match is going to be probably the last 10 minutes of the show. And it's going to be Carmen Petrovich and Ariana Grace, the hometown girls, versus JC Jane and that Kardashian helper, Jasmine Nix. I'm going to put my money on Carmen and Ariana. I feel like they deserve this win, if we're being honest. I know Ariana probably going to steal it, from Carmen and take all the credit, because that's in Ariana's nature, okay? It's just her. I'm curious about how this is going to play out, especially with Charlie Dempsey showing up to TNA recently and demolishing Trey Miguel and Leon Slater and taking out Zachary Wentz. This is going to lead to the Rascals showing up in NXT, and I can't fucking wait, because that's going to be crazy. But these girls are going to win this match. I think JC and Jasmine are being served up to them for the hometown heroes, which I'm fine with that. So we're going to move into the tag team title match. Sorry about that. That's the wrong one. It's the wrong graphic. Tag team title match for the men. So we've got Nathan Frazier and Axiom. They are the current tag team champions in NXT, and they will be facing off against Chase U. Now, Andre Chase found out this week that Ridge Holland has been cheating for them to win, and Ridge respectfully apologized. And of course, Duke Hudson made it very clear that he doesn't want to cheat. He wants to win on his own merit, as does Andre Chase. He's supposed to be a man of good faith. And of course, Riley Osborne was rubbing it in because he was like, bitch, I told you. But he apologized, and for the actions that he his consequences are that he cannot go to Toronto and participate along with the Chase U crew like he usually does. He has been instructed to stay in the back, but I don't think that that's going to happen. Also, in this match with Carmen and Ariana, Fallon probably is going to play a part in this somehow, because for whatever reason, she seems to align herself with JC and Jasmine, which is wild as hell, because not too long ago, if not like 3 or 4 months ago, she was getting her ass whooped by JC and Jasmine. and Kiana and Izzy. Like, I would not be talking to the bitches, but do you? Whatever makes you happy. So yeah, in this match, I think that Chase U is going to go over because of Ridge Holland, and that's going to be an even bigger problem for Chase U, and of course Riley, unless Riley Osborne catches him, but you never know. So let's get into the NXT Women's North American Championship. Right now, Kaylani is the champion, and she's only defended her title once, and that was against Mia Yim over in NXT. And she had a successful title defense, but it was because of interference due to Jada Parker. Now she has the opportunity to defend her title successfully against Sol Ruka, but everybody knows that Sol Ruka ain't no slouch. And if you get in the ring with Sol Ruka, the fear of getting your soul snatched is very real. Because now that bitch know how to do it from any part of the ring. Middle of the ropes, not a problem. Corner, not a problem. It is nasty. And I would be fair. I would be afraid. I would be very afraid. But Kaylani says she's up for the challenge because nobody can do it like Lonnie, like she said. Now, a lot of people are not really happy with Kaylani as a champ because they feel like she doesn't have much of a personality. But I think that will develop over time, especially if she loses this championship. That would cause anybody to go mad and be angry. And I want to see what she can do as a heel because I feel like there's a bitch down in there somewhere, but she just got to be pulled out. And she will. Who do I think is going to win in this match? I think Kaylani is going to retain. I don't think Soul's going to get this title just yet, but it doesn't mean that she isn't going to get it in the future. Now, when it comes to the men's North American Championship, I am very, very torn. But I love Obafemi, and I have a very strong love for Wes Lee and his tenacity of never giving up and constantly pushing forward despite the obstacles that are put in his way. He always finds some kind of way to reinvent himself, not necessarily to change who he is, but to reinvent the goal or reinvent the wheel where he literally sees no obstacle and he just keeps pushing forward. With all that being said, though, I think Wes Lee's time as North American champion is up. And if he loses this match against Obafemi, just like the stakes against Seth Rollins on the main roster means he'll never be able to challenge for the title again, it's the same stakes for Wes Lee. As long as Obafemi is champion, he will never be able to challenge for the North American Championship again. And I think that he will not beat Obafemi on Sunday for that title. I think there are bigger and better things for Wes Lee to obtain, and that is the NXT Championship. And I feel like Wes Lee deserves the right to be NXT champion and make that champion even bigger and better than what it is. And what better way to put it on a workhorse guy like Wes Lee? Okay? So, moving on to the big kahunas. Let's get to the women. Lola has finally released herself and showed her true colors. At least that's what she's leading us to believe. Now, this past Tuesday, she poured her heart out to everybody and told everybody about how she had to, pretty much take care of her mom. And that's why she was a part of UFC and MMA. And she was Garden at 18 fighting. And I was like, congratulations to you. And so did Roxanne. But Roxanne made it very clear, you're not in Madison Square Garden in an MMA fight. You are in my world. You are wrestling. And in this ring, I am superior to you. And to Roxanne's credit, she's right. Lola may have the skill of an MMA fighter, but you can't use MMA fighting as your main goal in terms of how you will have your fighting style in this ring. You have to have some wrestling prowess in order to successfully compete. Does MMA give you a bit of an edge? Absolutely. We've seen that with other people who have come from MMA, namely probably one of the greatest NXT women's champions of all time in Shayna Baszler. But that's not the point. If Lola wants to beat Roxanne, she's going to have to rest on her MMA fighting skill. And because Roxanne knows that, she's going to force Lola to fight her style of fighting. And that's dangerous because Lola is weak in that form of fighting. So with all that being said, who do I pick to win? I don't see Lola Vice becoming champion right now. In fact, I think it would be unfair to Roxanne for her to drop this championship to Lola when she's had plenty of other competitors that she could have easily dropped it to and moved on to the main roster. No, I think there's some bigger fish to fry here, and somebody else is going to pop up in NXT Heatwave, and Roxanne is going to be quaking in her boots. If it ain't Cora Jade, then it's definitely going to be Miss Julia. Shout out to Nicole. But anyways, the final match at NXT Heatwave is between 4 of the top competitors in NXT. We have the newcomer in Ethan Page, the semi-newcomer in Shawn Spears, and more like an oldie but goldie since he was a part of NXT Black and Gold. And then you have the new young OG in Javon Evans, and you have our current champ, none other than Trick Williams. All 4 men have a true stake. Well, 3 of the men have a true stake at the championship. Javon Evans won the Battle Royal and rightfully earned his spot to face off against Trick Williams. Now, if we're going to be fair and play semantics, Ethan Page shouldn't have been in the Battle Royal to begin with because he lost clean to Trick Williams, but he was there. Nothing you can do or say about it. Shawn Michaels' bald-headed ass is always giving people extra chances. However, technically, he was never eliminated from the Battle Royal because he was taken out before the bell even rang by Oro Mensah. And Shawn Spears really has no stake to the title, but he did create one for himself. He did put himself in a position where he technically beat the champion, so he was able to get in on this title match. Now, Trick Williams has 3 targets on his back, and he's going to have to fight his way out because in this match, he does not have to be pinned in order to lose his championship. And I believe that is exactly what's going to happen. He more than likely will not be pinned if he loses his championship. I believe that whoever eats this pin, which more than likely will be Shawn Spears or Javon Evans, Ethan Page is probably going to walk out of NXT as the new champion, which kind of sucks because Trick Williams deserves better than that as a champion, and nobody else got treated like that. Hell, Braun Breaker didn't even get treated like that as champion. He was technically he did because he was a 2-time champion because Ciampa took the title from him. No, it wasn't Ciampa. It was Dolph Ziggler who took the title from him. So he kind of did get treated like that, but he got the title back. So I don't know. Do I think that, Shawn Michaels going to do that? No, he not, because I feel like Triple H is itching for Trick Williams to be on the main roster. I mean, that nigga got a rash. Okay, just waiting. Ooh, I can't wait to hear whoop that trick on Raw or SmackDown. And knowing him, he going to put that man on Raw. I don't know. I'm curious. But I will say this. I'm going to go with my gut, and I think that Trick Williams is going to retain. Now, a lot of people think that Oro Mensah is going to attack Ethan Page and keep him from getting the championship, which would give him another opportunity because he's going to make that case. It would give him another opportunity to go after Trick Williams in an individual one-on-one match. Okay, so if that's the case, all scenarios are possible, and it's possible that Trick Williams can walk out of NXT Heatwave as champion, and I think that is the best likely scenario. And then you can have Trick Williams drop it later on this year at the next pay-per-view, which I think is a PLE, a TV PLE. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a TV PLE. Scratching his neck with reckless abandon for Trick. You know that he is. You know he is sitting up there like a fiend, just, I can see the shirts now. Because right now, Trick Williams would be what Jey Uso is right now on the roster. He would be a merchandise magnet. He would be ratings gold. Okay, the people would be going insane for Trick Williams, all right? So it's only a matter of time, because when he came to the main roster and he was on SmackDown, matter of fact, if I was Kratos, I would put his ass on SmackDown. I would put him on SmackDown. And I know y'all don't want to be on SmackDown with Carmelo, but I think he should go on SmackDown because Jey Uso's over there on Raw. I don't want them to be on the same show. I want to have the same electricity on SmackDown that I have on Raw. And if I can put lightning in the bottle with Trick Williams on SmackDown and keep Jey Uso on Raw, then I'm Gucci. You feel me? My shows are balanced. I don't need nothing else, right? So that's the show, y'all. Those are both of the shows. We got a long weekend ahead of us. We just put SmackDown in the bank. Okay. And now tomorrow we're gonna put money in the bank. And you know that. Anyway, y'all make sure y'all come back here tomorrow because we're gonna go over SmackDown. We're not SmackDown, we're gonna go over Money in the Bank, match by match. All right. Make sure you follow me on my socials. All my socials are running at the bottom because you can catch me, and my stuff goes up on TikTok as well. So you can catch me over there. Sometimes I put stuff on Twitter. So hey, over there to Twitter. That's where most of the people coming from Twitter, child. If you come on over here to YouTube and subscribe, you will see when I actually go live, and you guys can be a part of the conversation and your voices can be heard. And as long as you're respectful, I'll be respectful and all that good stuff. Okay. But tomorrow we're going to go live right after Money in the Bank. And then on Sunday, right after NXT Heatwave, I'm going to go live. So y'all come back over here tomorrow after the show, and we're going to chit chat about where we're headed into SummerSlam and who won and what we're going to be doing, babes. What we going to be doing. So while we go off the air, I'm going to let y'all see the last set of matches for Money in the Bank, and then I'm gonna be out y'all here. I promise. Thank y'all so much for coming over here and listening to me rant and rave and give y'all a rundown, lowdown of the next 2 days that we're gonna be stuck watching wrestling. But I promise you, it was well worth the wait because wrestling has been fun these last couple of months, and that is all we wanted was for wrestling to be fun. So I will see you guys tomorrow after Money in the Bank.